Hi, happy Sunday. Welcome to Sarah's Kitchen again. Today we're going to make a little cherry crumble, and I like shortcuts, but I like maximum flavour and taste. So I've actually got these dark sweet cherries from Aldi, and I'm using, because there's a few of us for lunch today, family, so I'm using 2 packs of these. It's just all the prep's done, all the stones are taken out. So this is what they look like. That's all the juice in there, and I've just let them defrost a little bit. So 1 or 2 packs, depending on how many you're cooking for. But all the stones are out, so it's ever so easy. So what we need to do now is, before we make the crumble, I'm going to show you a couple of additives which I will put into the cherries. So I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons, I can't get this off, hang on, of vanilla essence. I'm just going to pour it on. It's going to be a couple of teaspoons, so 1, 2. Vanilla essence or vanilla extract is absolutely fine. And because it's quite juicy, you can see the amount of like natural sort of juice in the cherries. If you want quite a sloppy crumble, depending on your taste, that's fine, leave it as it is. But I want something that's a little bit thicker, so what I'm going to do is add a couple of tablespoons of cornflower. This is a thickening agent. So, and when it cooks, what will happen is it will just thicken naturally. Now we need some sugar, so I'm going to put in some caster sugar, and I'm going to use, I'm just going to think for these, probably 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to mix it all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. I've got quite a sweet tooth. Okay, so Sienna, do you want to come in a little bit and just watch what we're doing here? My stepdaughter is filming me, which is really handy and very kind of her. So I'm just mixing all that together. It looks a mess now, but when it comes out, it will be really quite delicious. Okay, so that's all the cornstarch or corn flour in there, and a little bit of vanilla essence and the sugar. I'm just going to actually taste it. Enough sugar. Right, so I'm going to put that to one side. Now we're going to make the crumble. Okay, so I'm not going to measure anything. I'm just going to do it like the Americans do by cup. So that's quite a lot of fruit there. So I'm going to add, this is a big mug here. I just want to make it easy for you guys. If you haven't got scales or anything, everyone's got a mug. This is a normal mug, okay? What does it say? Awesome Dad. Must be David's. So a big tablespoon of flour, and I'm going to use probably about the same of porridge oats. Okay, so that goes in. So I'm just kind of doing it by eye. You know, we need a pinch of salt in there. I'll just do a little bit of a grind of salt. And what we're going to do now, we're going to rub the butter. If you haven't got normal butter, just use any kind of marge or flora or whatever you've got in the fridge. Just don't think that's enough. I'm going to add another ½ a cup of flour. Mug. This is plain flour I'm using. Right, that's that. Because it is quite a lot of crumble, just like looking. So, I think we'll need all of this. Okay, so that is probably about 2/3 of a pack. I have washed my hands really, really thoroughly beforehand in case anybody's thinking it's awful. So what you want to do is very lightly and gently just move the fat around in the flour, and you want to try and get this mixture to resemble fine breadcrumbs. And then when it starts to cook, the reason I've added porridge oats, it really does enhance the flavour. It gives it a slightly nutty flavour, which I really like. And you can add things like muesli to crumble or granola. You know, it really depends on your personal taste. So I'm just giving you different options really. So this looks great. I'm wondering actually if I need a bit more butter. I do things by eye because I've been doing it for so long, so much cooking. And I was cooking for my dad and brother when I was 13. So I was like well, I just used to cook for them the whole weekend. My mum wasn't around, so that's what I used to do. So that's why I kind of have over the years made lots of mistakes, but also done lots of cooking. I'm going to add, it feels a bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more butter. Right. I've got this out of the freezer. It's not particularly... Okay, so just want it a little bit more, so I'm just going to maybe cut it up to start with. It's not as soft as the other butter. You know, cooking, once you've made things a few times, it's all about just seeing how it feels and looks to you, and then you get to know if you like things done in a different way, or a bit more sugar, a bit more salt, and there's no massive rules for cooking as well. It's all about, as I said, how you like things, you know. I mean, obviously a recipe, when you're a novice and you start cooking, it's good to follow recipes because you need some guidance. But you know, once you've done it a few times, you think, oh, let's just experiment. And you know, there's always the next meal, isn't there, even if it is a disaster. So, right, I'm just gonna really, when your butter's harder, as you can see, it's a bit more, it takes a bit more work to try and get it all breadcrumby. So what I'm doing is I'm just pushing it between my fingers. Okay. I think that's looking good. So now we're going to add some sugar. Make sure that's all kind of amalgamated. So breadcrumby looking, yeah, it is. Ish. Okay, so now we're adding some sugar. Any sugar at all, whatever you've got. But you can have, oh, I found another big lump. Sorry. You've got to do this right, because you don't want a big globule of grease when you bite into this. You want something that's nice and toasty and crumbly, but you don't want, good job I went through that. The thing is, I usually prepare things more, but then somebody said, oh, how on earth did you get to that, Sarah? Can you just actually show us in real time? So that's why, for this one, I'm doing it in real time, but it is a bit more long-winded, so I hope you're right. That's feeling good now. There's all the lumps are out, all the butter's made into little breadcrumbs, so you can just cut it off your fingers like that. Just don't be worried about anything. Okay, so we're going to add some sugar now. I'm going to use this. Again, let's use the old mug method. So let's see how much we've got. This is demerara sugar. I'm going to use at least a cup of sugar. So let's put some more in there. What have I got here? Some caster sugar. I'm going to mix them together. Again, you know. So I'm going to add that in now. Okay, again a mug. So we use 1.5 mugs of plain flour and a whole mug of porridge oats. Okay, so let's just bring it all together, mix it up. 2 different types of sugar. You can see that, you know, even I don't have everything to hand all the time, but alternatives are good. It just maybe creates a different kind of flavour. So that's absolutely fine. Make sure it's all mixed in. Okay, lovely. That's looking good. Now, all we do, that's why I love Crumble, because it's so easy. It's all mixed up nicely. I'm going to start to put my these recipes and my filming on YouTube or TikTok as well, because yeah, I'd like to get recognised and to maybe do a little show, a proper show on TV. So I think I need to do a little bit more and get more of a following on some different mediums. So anyway, that's that, and I'm going to bring over the cherries. Okay, so now we put one on top of this, quite a lot of crumble there, and you just make sure it's all spread around. Okay, because you do want a fairly thick layer of crumble. This is really lovely to do actually, because it's a really easy pudding, and I think everyone loves homemade desserts. And of course, there is a rule of thumb that I always have, is that if it's homemade, there are no calories in it. So if you believe that, you believe anything. Okay, so let's look here. This is looking very, very nice. So let's just pat that down, okay? And I'm going to add a little bit more sugar on the top. And we're going to pop that in the oven, and that will cook for, that's quite a big one, so about 45 minutes, and probably about gas 200. And then it will come out, and then you can serve it with either yogurt or cream or ice cream, or just on its own. But I really hope you enjoy this, and you can use any fruit you want. And I will come back to you soon with some more delicious recipes. Happy Sunday.